10 ways to create outstanding essays. Why do students have to write so many essays? It doesn't matter if you are like in high school or college, you have to write dozens or hundreds of papers. There's a reason for that. It will test your entire student skill set, your ability to research information, understand it, how good you can analyze the subject and explain it in your own words. My name is Enrique from Studybay, and if you want to write a great paper, you need to sleep like now first and to understand the basics of it all. How is it graded? And more importantly, how to write a great essay. A lot of people think they understand the basic nature of it all, but there is more to it than it meets the eye. Let's go! Slap! An essay will test many things, regardless of your academic level, such as knowledge. First and foremost, it will test how much important information the student knows about the subject. It also makes the student truly understand the material before they can start. Understanding. Before you start writing things down, you will have to understand the questions that need to be answered. The first thing your essay will test is your ability to understand the task at hand. Comprehension. They will also test how much you understand complex issues and your ability to explain them simply. You shouldn't only know about the subject, you should also be able to explain it to someone who doesn't know it at all. Objectivity. If you want to write a great essay, you will have to look at several and oftentimes contradicting sources. You will have to showcase your ability to consolidate information with an unbiased eye. Grammar skills. Since you have to write down your paper, your English writing abilities will also be tested, even if it's not for English class. Time management ability. The most projects have a deadline, and sometimes they have a really short one. You have to demonstrate that you have the great time managing ability to pull all together a nice paper despite a short time frame. Wow! Now that you know why you are writing an essay, you should also know how to write it, right? Here are 10 most important things you keep in mind when you are going to do it, okay? Nice! So, let's go! First, provide the right structure and thought-provoking ideas. A great essay is coherent from beginning to end. Your first paragraph should be reading with the last one in mind. Throughout your paper, you have to provide interesting ideas that could spark a debate if you read out loud. To achieve this, it's hard, I know. You have to dig deep and make use of opposing sources. If you are allowed to do so, you should give your point of view based on everything you have read. Second tip, plan and make sure every paragraph has a purpose. Before you write anything down, you need to know where you place it beforehand. Just like organizing the information, if you are in high school, the project structure will be provided to you, usually. If that isn't the case, or if you are in college, you need to plan your essay's outline. You should start with initial statement, followed by paper's body, where you provide information to prove your stance. Finally, we will give a closing statement in the last paragraph. Third, understand the importance of sense and emotions. If you want to write down a great essay, you need to know and understand that it's not about cold and hard facts. You need to make an emotional impact on the readers if you want to excel the task at hand. Try to change the way on how you portray your information. Try to place the readers inside the essay. Make them explore what they are reading. If it is a history project, make them see and hear the history surrounding them. To accomplish this, well, it's not an easy task. You need to have great attention to detail and amazing storytelling abilities. Another way to emotionally relate with your reader is through classic tools such as metaphors. But be careful, be aware to not overdo this. Appealing to emotions is the best way to take your writing to the next level, but if it's not correctly balanced, it can seem like a low quality effort. It's better to use it once or not at all, rather than throughout all your paper. Number 4, be willing and ready to read a lot. Even though you have to showcase your abilities and knowledge through writing, reading is the backbone of an essay. Books, academic papers, articles will be all your main weapons to help you fight this battle. Even though you might think you have enough information from one book, you should always aim to go the extra mile and read a little bit more, even if it completely contradicts what you have read so far. You need to develop the ability to handle large amounts of data and come out with an accurate answer, just like someone involved in academia would do. If you are not sure where to start, look for other articles based on your subject. Read them all and check their sources. Read through their sources as well. Try your best to understand the thought process behind each one and develop a voice of your own to retell these statements. You should always be original when you're writing down an essay, but that doesn't mean you cannot get inspired by other people's work. Sometimes things go wrong, and we struggle a lot. So remember that there are no hopeless situations at all. And if it's not a big deal to ask for help in such situations, find help at studybay.com. We help students. Slap like now, just kidding, or not. Come on, slap like now. Spark interest with something unusual. Well, as you know, a good essay provides information. A great essay, it's more than that. It firmly grips the reader's attention. You need to make your paper interesting, otherwise it will seem like a grueling process to get through, both for you while you're writing it and also for your professor while you're reading. There are multiple ways to do this, but the easiest one is to say something unusual. You shouldn't say it outright or people will see it's a cheap exploit. You should build up to it. By the time the reader gets to the unusual part of the article, they will be hooked. Well, don't go overboard with this and say something completely crazy, You should aim to present well-known information from a different angle or showcase new data for an old subject. But be careful, don't go overboard with this and say something completely crazy or out of hand. You should aim to present well-known information from a different angle or showcase the new data from an old subject. Number 6. What you say is important, surely, but how you say it is the key. You need to develop your voice for writing essays. It's impossible to portray information right if you are doing it with someone else's words. Stick to the tools you know how to use properly. I know it might be tempting for a lot of people, but don't go overboard with unnecessary words. 9 times out of 10, simple words can get the message across better than any complicated phrase. This doesn't mean you should not try to put an effort. You need to showcase the best of your abilities. You should always be looking to improve the way you write and communicate information, even if you don't have to write anything on an everyday basis. Eloquence is a great tool to have for both academia and day-to-day life. Number 7. Get the reader ready. Use a couple of sentences to explain what the essay is about. Most scientific papers and academic essays will start with 1 or 2 sentences opening statement explaining what the project will be about. Don't be afraid to use this as well. In that way, you'll be preparing the reader for what's coming. It needs to be brief. It should feel like it's not part of the essay itself, but an introduction. You need to explain what is it that you are going to talk about, the structure and the main takeaway of it all. There is no need to use fancy words or dance around what you are trying to do. Be straightforward if you have to. If you feel it's necessary, simply start with, in this article, I will talk about, or something along the lines of, this essay will explain. For example, in this essay, just say, I will showcase the reasons why reptiles lay eggs. Reptiles commonly reproduce differently from mammals. In this essay, I will explain why. Something like that, Just like try to explore the idea, giving what it's the essay itself about, like an introduction, okay? For example, there are 5 reasons why reptiles lay eggs to reproduce, as I will explain in this essay. Well, I think enough about reptiles, right? You can add your spin to it. The point is to explain right away what you are going to talk about. If you need to use another sentence to explain how you are going to do it, well, that's great too. Number 8. Make sure you use plenty of citations and an academic-like bibliography. Well, even if you are not asked, make use of citations and finish with a bibliography. It's just like the references that you took to write your essay. Demonstrate you are willing to go the extra mile and you know how to work on your paper. By doing so, it will give your project a scholarly feel and make it more organized in the process, increasing the credibility. It's also a great way to show how much work you have put through to create the perfect essay. If you have never used citations before, remember to write them down on each page's footstep. There are different styles to use when it comes to citations. Pick one and stay consistent with it. Or, it's important to say, check it out if your high school or college have a guidance, to give you the structure required for each institution. If you never used bibliography before, they go at the end of your essay. Both citations and bibliography need to mention the source, name of the author and date of publication. For citations, the page number is needed too. We are almost there, about to finish. Number 9. Giving your essay the finishing touches. After you have finished writing and the first draft is done, walk away from it. Take a 5 or 10 minute break to clear your head. Go for a walk, meditate, do something. When you are ready, go back to it. Read it carefully or ask someone else to read for you. Getting a second opinion. Studybay, count on us. Why is it so important? Well, that's the stage you start looking for any grammar mistakes. Make sure the punctuation is right. You should also check how good an essay flows. It needs to be read without much effort and go from point A to point B naturally. I know it's a hard work, but if there are any cliches or out-of-place sentences, delete them or rewrite them. You should do it at least 2 or 3 times, especially if you have to change a big or important part. Every time you finish proofreading, take another short break, and then go back to it with a fresh mind. The last but not the least. Well, use any kind of software audio to hear what your essay sounds like, maybe even Google Translate. Look for any audio tool available online. Copy and paste your project into it. Sit back, listen to it, relax. Try to pay attention carefully. How does it sound? Is it pleasant? Do you find any problems? Be on the lookout for any issues. If there is something wrong or you didn't like it much, rewrite it and listen to it again. Well, as I said, you are not alone. Another great way to do this is to ask for someone else for help. They will read your paper out loud and help you find mistakes. They will help you fix them as well. The idea here is to get another perspective. Well, in this way, you will be able to point out mistakes easier and faster. So, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video and these tips will help you to write an outstanding essay. You can always find the best experts in the field at studybay.com. If you need help, please, we are here and glad to help. Thanks for your attention and for watching. I'm Enrique from Studybay. We help students. Please, don't forget to slap like now and leave a comment below if you found it interesting or something, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Peace.